Your Excellency, the Prime Cabinet Secretary and Cabinet Secretary for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, it's really a great pleasure for me to welcome you all to the Finnish residence here in Nairobi to mark the 107th anniversary of the independence of the Republic of Finland. Now, looking at how many of you, and the garden, oh, we still have a bit of space there, is really quite full, I see that the relationship between Finland and Kenya is doing very well indeed. Karibu marafiki. This year, we are also celebrating 60 years of Kenya's diplomatic relations with the world. Congratulations on this. And I am very pleased to see Your Excellency here. And we were just talking about the fact that it's a good week. We started it together at the KICC on Monday morning, marking Kenya's diplomatic journey. And there were a lot of pictures about our relationship and President Moi's state visit, other visits up there. And now we are concluding the working week here at the Finnish residence. We both do feel a bit guilty that we're not running in Eldoret tomorrow, but I suppose that that's going to be okay. Now, our Independence Day comes towards the end of the year. Not quite as close as Kenya's. Jamhuri Day is in 6 days, on the 12th of December. But close enough to provide us with a good opportunity to look back at nearly a full year. Now, for Finland, 2024 has indeed been an important one. It also marked the election early in the year of a new president, Mr. Alexander Stubb. In June, the Finnish population, together with other citizens of the Union, went again to the polls, this time for European Parliament elections. These both elections were very important. A new European executive has also just taken office in Brussels on 1st of December. Now, if I look at the two elections, they send a very strong message that both Finland, as a member, and the European Union as a whole, have maintained a strong outlook of global openness and attachment to the rules-based international order. This is important in these very complex and challenging times. Finland is an active member of the European family. You just heard the European anthem alongside my own national one. For me, and in my heart, these two belong together. It is a sign of belonging to something bigger than the sum of its parts, but it is also about the importance of joint action in global, on the global scene. And this global scene continues to be in flux. The rules-based international order is challenged more than ever. Russia's colonial war of aggression rages over 3 years. The Middle East has been in flames. People die every day in conflicts around the world. The tragedy of Sudan is a case in point. Just solutions are needed, and we must remember that every human life is equally valuable, not one life more important than the other. An active Finland within a strong geopolitical European Union stands ready to contribute to these solutions. Now, bilaterally, it's been a busy year. Our relations have continued to develop, they've deepened, but they've also transformed. And this continued a couple of years ago, quite a few years ago. When I arrived in Nairobi in August 2021, my marching orders were clear. We had a new Africa strategy, and I was told, time to move away from a sort of donor-recipient relationship, and we've talked about this with Your Excellency a lot, to an equal partnership between our nations, between two strong countries, between two strong nations. And shared goals and values have been at the heart of this work. Kenya is a well-established African democracy. She has consistently been a like-minded partner in defense of the rules-based multilateral order. And this has been seen also in Kenya's principled stance on Russia's war in Ukraine. And this stance is and continues to be highly appreciated. And we wish to deepen this partnership further, both bilaterally and at the EU level. Let me note that our presidents have met at least twice this year, and they've had very good substantive discussions I know, because my president, whom I know quite well, has personally told me how much he has appreciated these exchanges. And he looks forward to continuing them. Some present in both of our ministries actually even talked about a bromance. We'll have to see. Now, Your Excellency and my minister sends her personal, warmest regards. Also had a very good exchange with my minister at the Copenhagen Nordic Africa foreign ministers meeting. These exchanges matter. Now, we've also started working on a closer partnership in peace mediation, and this is in the center of our foreign and security policy. But we need a strong Kenya in this region as a partner, and you are one, and we're very proud to work with you. Now, let's get more mundane. We had 2 cabinet ministers in 2024, our Minister of Environment during UNEA 6, our Minister for Trade and Development in June, together with the business delegation. He started his visit at your beautiful offices at the railway building. Our Undersecretary for International Development visited twice. I even asked whether I should give him an office. He was here for the annual meeting of the African Development Bank and for the ministerial on the Global School Meals Coalition in late October, where Kenya is a leading country, and which was something which I see my French colleague, we together with France, were putting together in the beginning. These visits were filled with substance. There was talk of new projects and opportunities, but our trade and development ministers' visit also clearly marked the transition from this to this equal partnership. We are now moving to business-based instruments, and this is good. And we have at this moment, for instance, under our public investment facility, an overall sort of package of nearly up to 100 million of soft loans, grants, but really big, good infrastructure projects, which I look forward to pushing forward. Now, we're still very active, even if we are changing the way. We've been very active with fighting gender-based violence. We were just in Kilifi. We are actually, in your acting capacity as Cabinet Secretary for Gender as well at this moment, co-chairing the gender group, the high-level gender group, and I am chairing the Development Partners Gender Group. We work to counter gender-based violence and female genital mutilation. And while our more traditional programs are coming to an end, we continue working through the Kenyan Red Cross. With Germany, hello Sebastian, we work on TVET. We're building up the skill set of young Kenyans and creating jobs. And this is key in a country where the median age is 19 and 1 million young people enter the job market every year, with only 200,000 gaining formal employment. I think we can work on this, and I think we can get results, and I know your government is very committed. But this takes me to another matter, and I'm soon closing, but an important one, I believe. 2024, with all its successes, has also seen a lot of discussion on what the young people want, what youth wants, what are their aspirations. We as diplomats here in Nairobi are friends. We followed this discussion closely. We're friends and partners. We are not here to tell you what to do, but we can share a bit of experience here and there and so on. It takes me a little bit back to something I wrote in The Nation about this morning. For the 7th consecutive year, Finland has been ranked as the happiest country in the world by the World Happiness Report. I know it makes many people chuckle. You look at us, especially in November, we look quite grim, you know, not really. It's a bit like, you know, in Tex Avery, the dog Droopy, you know what, I'm happy. But I mean, we are genuinely happy. But what is this happiness? It's contentment. Now, there are 3 principles, and I wrote about that, which really define Finnish society: transparency, openness, and predictability. Information's openly available. Corruption's virtually non-existent. Meetings, both work and private, start and end exactly on time. Sorry, I had to say that. And you can trust your counterpart's word. Would you believe it? But in our case, the police are ranked as the most trusted profession in the country, followed by medical doctors. I get the medical doctors, but I'm very happy it's the police too. And trust in tax authorities in all the Nordic countries is very high. These rules are clear and simple, and if you pay too much taxes, and I know because I get some taxes back every year, the government actually pays them back on you, and you know which date you'll get it a month in advance. So, and it's easy. So transparency, openness, and predictability, they really form an algorithm of happiness. They describe a society which works for its members. Maybe there's a lesson or two to learn from that, I don't know. I think we're quite happy with it. But these principles are also important for business. Our businesses want to come here. The East African market is exciting. Kenya is the key to that market. Our Minister of Trade and Development came here with a business delegation. Our businesses have a lot to give. We have a regional hub of Business Finland. We have a FinFund office, one of the first outside, with a financing portfolio of 40 million euros from here. The EU-Kenya Economic Partnership Agreement, which has recently entered into force, provides great opportunities to be harnessed. But it's important that the investment climate is there for us really to win. And I think we can win together. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Nairobi is also the only UN capital in the global south. UNEP and UN Habitat are dealing with important challenges. From the triple planetary crisis of climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution, to the need to get a roof over the heads of every person. But also, the fact that you have a global UN capital here means that this is a place where we, global North and global South, can talk and try to understand each other better and try to make this a better place together. This is important work. Nairobi is, of course, also a center I cover for other countries from here, including Somalia, where we are working together, and Kenya is working very strongly to help in state building and trying to see that this wonderful country, and there's a big Somali diaspora in Finland, goes forward. Now, I've spoken a long time, but allow me to conclude. The year is coming to a close, and when it's time to come to a close of a year, it's time to say thank you. Asante, marafiki. Thank you, friends. You have been great friends of Finland here, whether in government, NGOs, in the diplomatic community. You make this job a pleasure. I'm privileged to have an excellent team at the embassy. You do a wonderful job. I may often give you a hard time, I know, but let me say, you all rock. You make me proud every day of the quality of Finnish diplomacy, every single day. And certainly not least, a special thank you to my partner, Melissa, for your support, love, and friendship. I do not take that for granted. And finally, it's our Independence Day, but ho, 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 and Finland is the country of Santa Claus. We are coming to Christmas, so allow me to conclude, passing the floor to the Chief Cabinet Secretary. Allow me to say, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Season's greetings.